So in Mario Kart 64, whenever you hold on to a single item, the camera zooms out a little bit to give you a better view if you want to use the item. And well, I bring this up because as a kid, I always thought that doing this made you go slightly faster, since it looks like your character is getting pushed up a little bit. And maybe sometimes I would hold on to an item a bit longer thinking I was giving myself an extra boost. Although now I could definitely say that this is more just an illusion of extra speed if anything. The South Park games, or at least the first two RPG games, are, in my opinion, the perfect examples for a game that's based off of a cartoon to be described as it feeling like you're playing through an actual episode of the show. Because just like its contemporaries, it has the cast voicing their characters as well as the writing team making the jokes. But unlike their contemporaries, they actually managed to recreate the entire look of the show, which is usually something that most cartoon-based games fall short on. So there was something in GoldenEye that always bothered me as a kid, and I guess even now as an adult. And this is related to whenever you shot an unsilenced weapon, which obviously alerts all the guards and they start coming after you. But it always bugs the hell out of me whenever I see an enemy with an unsilenced weapon start shooting at you and none of the guards bat an eye. And well, this is just really annoying to me because it's just unrealistic. If either of you shoot, everyone should be alerted. But at the very least, I do concede that this is a game, and they made it this way on purpose to make the game slightly easier. I remember the good old days of playing Brawl on the Wii and playing it online, and it was really mind-blowing to actually play something online on a Nintendo console. And well, for as fun as it was to play the regular fighting mode, I do have to kinda ask, why wasn't Subspace Emissary able to play online? I mean, I know the obvious answer is probably the Wii couldn't handle it, but if the system was able to hold 4 people in a regular match, I would imagine it could hold on to 2 in this. And if the problem was the cutscenes, then just cut them out altogether, just don't have them play. But in the end, this is just a situation where it sucks because this would have been a really cool opportunity that was instead missed. I always found this funny at the beginning of San Andreas, which is how quickly you can get armed to the teeth if you really wanted to, since there are so many weapons within the general location of Grove Street. There's the SMG on top of Sweet's house, a pistol in the backyard of one of the houses, the shovel in the backyard of Ryder's house, the brass knuckles out in the open, the spray can even in CJ's house, and my personal favorite, the piece of armor that's under the bridge. Yeah, no, you end up with a great mini arsenal here. NES games are like video games at their purest level. Simple plot, simple gameplay, simple controls. But despite their simplicity, these games are still worth popping in today, because they're just so fun and addicting. I swear, there's just something special about them. Nintendo worked their magic to make the quality of these games outlast their heyday, and I suppose that's also true for all the non-Nintendo companies. So Sonic 3D Blast is a game that originally came out on the Genesis, but would end up having a re-release onto the Saturn. But despite being on better hardware, this game is virtually identical to the Genesis version, with a few exceptions of course, like better graphics and a completely new special stage. But of course the biggest difference is probably the music, with this game getting a completely new soundtrack for all the levels. And well, I bring this all up because despite the fact that quality-wise the music is better on the Saturn, I don't think it's overall better than the Genesis music. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think that the soundtracks for both of these games are great, it's just that the Genesis version has a slight edge over the Saturn version, and I think this is due to the fact that this game came out so late on the Genesis, so the composers probably knew how to push the system to its limits to get the best results at this point. Having played through just about all the Call of Duty campaigns on Veteran has taught me something. That being that the newer games are much easier than the older ones. Which I mean is expected, but when I say newer ones, I actually mean very far back. Because in my opinion, once you get past the first 5 Call of Duty games, all of them are basically easy. Or I should say in comparison, because obviously if you're still on Veteran, you're still gonna have some issues in the newer ones. But nowhere near the hellscape that is the first first 5 games. Like how the first one has no regenerative health, and then you have to get health packs, but they don't spawn in on veterans, so that life bar is literally all you have. Or being bombarded with an infinite amount of grenades in World at War. Yeah, no, these games will definitely kick you in the ass. So in the original Doom games, you were just a general marine who got caught up in the demonic invasion and just tried to survive. And because of being so nondescript, he would go on to become known as Doom Guy. Then you cut to the 2016 game where he would officially be reworked into the Doom Slayer. And in this incarnation, he is the only one powerful enough to stop the demons. And well, I bring this all up because this is interesting. The fact that there's 2 completely distinct versions of this character. One where he's just another person in a bad situation and trying his best to survive, while the other is that he's trying to fix the situation because he's the only solution to it. So the Terminator game for Sega CD has 2 parts to it. The first part is in the future where you're fighting off a whole bunch of Terminators and hunter-killer drones and even Terminator dogs. Which all makes sense, these are the type of enemies you'd expect to go up against. But once you get to the second part of the game, you're in the past now, and because of this, it wouldn't really make sense for you to be fighting off Terminators anymore. So instead, you're fighting off people now, and well, I just bring this all up because there's just something funny about the idea of Kyle Reese killing all these people in the name of saving humanity. I mean, seriously, I'm pretty sure he kills more people in this game alone than the Terminators did across all the movies. So in Mega Man 3, after completing the 8 Robot Masters stages, you are forced to redo 4 of them. And these stages are not only harder than their base versions, but you're also going up against new bosses, those being the infamous Doc Robots. And these guys take the forms of the previous 8 Robot Masters from Mega Man 2. So now because of this, you have to relearn all the weapon patterns with these robots. And what else is infuriating about them is that they're so big, they're so easy to get hit by. And well, basically the bottom line is that these guys suck and they drag the whole game down. And well, I bring this all up because I can't help but feel that the Wily stages in this game are kind of like an apology for them, since it's literally like the easiest set of levels and bosses, and even right before the final boss they like literally shower you in health items and lives. So the Stick of Truth being a South Park game means that there's going to be some very over-the-top stuff in it, and one of the most prominently featured things is the introduction of Nazi zombies, in which people and even animals not only like turn into them, but they also start wearing their attire, like swastika armbands and even I think their hats. But basically, I bring this all up because I noticed a neat little thing with this. That being that whenever you encounter a child who had become a Nazi zombie, he's not wearing a regular swastika band, he's instead wearing a Hitler Youth one. Which is honestly just a really cool little detail that you wouldn't expect from such an absurd game like this. So GoldenEye has some easy missions, and it also has many hard ones. And one of the hardest is the second to last main mission, Caverns, because all the enemies you're going up against have like the best weapons and armor. But I definitely gotta say that the worst part about this mission is right at the end, since there's a radio you need to use to complete an objective. But here's the thing, the radio itself is completely surrounded by explosive barrels, so you need to watch your fire. But not only that, the second you walk into that room, one of the enemies like always throw a grenade, and that grenade virtually always blows everything up. And it's just, I hate the dicks who designed this particular part of the level, because they knew exactly what they were doing, with you making it virtually all the way to the end of the level just to get fucked right at the end. It's always weird to think that there's a limited amount of physical games that exist. Like, I know that there's millions of them made, but there's still a finite number. And if anything happens to like a copy, then that's one less number in the world. But then you have digital games where it's literally infinite. Like, as long as someone has at least one digital version of a game, then it could be copied infinitely, and you would just never run out of it. Duke Nukem Forever is a game that you needed to be there on day one to properly hate, since I played it long after it came out and kinda just saw it as an under par game, but I could easily imagine somebody who played it on day one being genuinely beyond disappointed with it, or just straight up hating it because it was a game that they waited 10 plus years for, and in the end all that hype amounting to nothing. So in Paper Mario 2, there are certain points in the game where you need to maneuver your way past some cannons, and this is just really annoying because they're constantly shooting out bullet bills, and they're covering up so much of the pathway that you're more than likely to get hit by them. But I bring this all up because I gotta say it feels great when you manage to find the sweet spot between the cannons, and just have all of their shots completely missing you, allowing Mario to just walk right up to them, and get an easy free hit to start the battle with. I always loved this little detail in the first Dead Rising game, it involving the certain loading screens that are newspapers, which normally features a picture you took, which is neat on its own. But what I really find cool about it is if you actually look at the articles and like the words, it's not gibberish. Instead, it's actually details about the plot, like I guess written from the perspective of after Frank already escaped. And the same is also true with the loading screens that have like the pinned documents on the wall. So yeah, this is pretty cool, although I guess it'd also be a pretty funny way to unintentionally spoil the game. So in GTA, whenever you save your game, you're not only saving the game, but you're also getting a full health refresh, since you know the idea of them saving is them going to bed and waking up. And it's a really nice bonus to get, and is sometimes even preferable to getting health any other way. But anyway, I bring this all up because I find it odd that when I played the 2 Stories games, that they removed this, like for really no good reason. Whenever you save now, it doesn't give you your health back. Although it's not that big a deal since in your apartment there is a health thing, but still just an odd choice to remove it and give you an extra step. So in Mega Man 4, you gain a new powerful ability, that being the Charge Shot. Then in Mega Man 5, it returns even more powerful, with an all-new bullet sprite just to reflect that. And well, I bring this all up because when you go from Mega Man 5 to 6, there seems to be a bit of a downgrade with this weapon, since the sprite for the bullet is like slightly smaller. And well, I don't know officially if it does less damage, it's just that it being smaller just tells me it's going to be weaker. So I have played many games up to this point, many of them great and some of them that were bad, and those are more or less self-explanatory. But there is a whole nother category of games that I played, I liked them, I enjoyed my time with them, I'm glad I played them, but I don't think I would ever play them again. And these games just fall into this weird category of even though I liked them, I'm just never seeing myself in the future ever playing them again, since the game wasn't able to 100% grab me, or the game was lacking a bit in content, so I kinda saw everything there was to see the first time around. So in Black Ops 2 Zombies, there were the perma-perks, which were like extra gameplay boosts you can get, whether that be like extra headshot damage or metal barriers. And well, I bring this up because there was one in particular that I kinda hated, that being the one that gives you back 1,000 points after drinking a perk. And well, for as nice as a bonus it is, it's such a bitch to get, with you needing to go prone after drinking it. And it doesn't help that you had to do this like literally 30 or 50 times, it always felt forever to get this perma perk. And the best part is, after you get it, if you forget to go prone just once after drinking a perk, you lose it and you have to get it all over again. Why is the final boss in Sonic CD such a downgrade? I mean, you go from the giant Death Egg robot that takes like 16 hits to kill, to this joke of a boss fight that doesn't even need the normal 8 hits to take down. I mean, hell, even in comparison to the Sonic 1 final boss, it's still a downgrade. I guess Robotnik truly wasn't on his A game, or he was over-relying on Metal Sonic and didn't have a plan B. Alright, I have a dumb one for you. It involving the map screen on GTA San Andreas. And well, simply put, if you go to the part of the map that has Mount Chiliad on it, I can kinda like vaguely see a ghost. Like there's eyes in the middle and then there's like outstretched hands on both the left and the right. And then the entire bottom part is like squiggly lines that like cartoon ghosts have at the bottom. And the entire thing just looks completely wavy, like again a cartoon ghost. So yeah, that's just something I noticed. And now I'm wondering that since I pointed it out, can you see it too? So in the Batman Arkham games, there are certain boss fights where Batman is fighting someone, but he's like hallucinating the fight. Like in City, where he goes up against Ra's al Ghul, and there's like a bunch of clones of him, and then he becomes gigantic. And I bring this up because I just want to know, what the hell does the enemy that he's fighting see? Since when you finish the fight, it shows that they were actually fighting him, but it's like, what did they see versus what Batman saw? And was Batman in the real world actually successfully dealing blows? Alright, so this is something I recently saw that kind of bugs me. It involving the opening cutscene to Blood of the Dead. But for some quick context first, Richtofen has a lab on Alcatraz, and this lab is not a part of the main prison, it's out on like the outskirts. And well, I bring that all up because in the opening cutscene he says, let's go to my lab, but then he goes the complete opposite direction of it. And it's like, why the hell does he do this? I mean, technically you can go that way to get to his lab, but it's like the long way. Unless he was using one of those weird teleport things, which I think there's one in that direction and one near his lab. I guess he got lazy and didn't want to walk the whole way.